Hello, Tri-Cities, and welcome to the 2020 Candidate Forum. It is the only region-wide business-focused candidate forum in the Tri-Cities. It's hosted by the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce. In this forum, you will be hearing from candidates running for Franklin County Commissioner Position 1. I'm Julia Thatcher. I'm a news anchor with Keeper Action News. A reminder that early voting starts as soon as you get those ballots. That'll be about October 13th, and voting runs through Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. A huge thank you for those of you who are watching this for informing yourself on issues that are important to people across the Tri-Cities. And now a message from the CEO and president of the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, Lori Matson.
As the foremost advocate and voice for business, the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce leads by advancing policies and positions that strengthen, preserve, and promote a thriving business climate, economy, and quality of life. The 2020 candidate forums are designed to highlight how candidate positions integrate with local business priorities. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank the Chamber's Board of Directors and Local Government Affairs Committee for their leadership in supporting our advocacy efforts. I'm especially pleased and grateful for the support of the candidate forum sponsors, Cascade Natural Gas, GISA Credit Union, JLH Group, and Hayden Homes. And last but not least, a very special thanks to our local news partners for collaborating on this project. Your time, talent, and expertise are valued and truly appreciated.
Thank you, Lori. It is a huge privilege to be here. Now I'm going to jump right into it, break down that format for you for the forum today. Each candidate will have 1 minute for opening and closing statements. The candidates will be asked the same questions. Response time for each candidate is limited to 2 minutes. Time limit reminders will appear on the screen at 10 seconds remaining, and if necessary, when time is up. And since this is a forum, candidates will not be provided rebuttal time. Let's begin by introducing those two candidates for Franklin County Commissioner Position 1. The incumbent is Commissioner Brad Peck, and the challenger is Kim Lehrman. Welcome and thank you both for your time for being here.
Thank you.
As mentioned, we will start with opening statements. So, Ms. Lehrman, we will begin in alphabetical order with your opening statement, and you have 1 minute.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Kim Lehrman, and I'm running to be your next Franklin County Commissioner for District 1. I'm a local. I was raised on my family's cattle and alfalfa farm, where I learned the value of hard work and teamwork. I was an agriculture educator and FFA advisor for over 13 years. Since leaving teaching to raise my family, I have focused on becoming an advocate in my community. My core governing philosophy is focused on responding to issues by listening to the thoughts of others, including constituents and experts, then crafting solutions that build consensus and promote transparency. I will respect the wealth of collective experience of our county employees by including their voices in the policies I put forward. I know that our families and businesses of Franklin County are hurting. We need a leader who is willing to reach out and listen to the county's residents and lead us through this crisis. A vote for Kim Lehrman is a vote for collaboration, transparency, and innovation.
Ms. Lehrman, thank you so much. And now, Mr. Peck, for your opening statement.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I think I want to point out right up front that as a county commissioner, experience matters this time, this election, probably more than in memory. We will have a Board of Commissioners come January that, unless I'm returned, will be the least experienced in the state of Washington. That would be 2 brand new commissioners and 1 relatively new. So I'm coming back to retain the experience that's necessary to lead the county. I was just recently selected, and I think in recognition of my expertise and my experience, by representatives, commissioners from all 39 counties in the state of Washington to serve on the Legislative Steering Committee that guides county interests with the state legislature, the Federal Affairs Committee, and perhaps most importantly, the County Road Administration Board that oversees the distribution of road taxes and road funds statewide. It's a 9-member board, only 4 people in political positions are selected. I'm pleased to be on that board.
Mr. Peck, thank you. And now on to the question and the answer part of the forum. So coin toss just before this taping did determine that Brad Peck will answer the first question, and then the alternate question will be answered subsequently after that. So the first question for Brad, If you could change one thing in Franklin County that, if implemented, would allow for profitable development, business success, and a broadened tax base, what would it be and why?
Well, there's a lot of opportunities to do that. I would start by making sure that we don't implement any kind of an income tax at the state level. I would continue to ensure that we reduce regulation on development. I would look particularly for ways to improve, let's say, the development standards between municipalities, cities, and counties. Right now, it's a patchwork quilt that frankly doesn't serve the interests of anybody. And in terms of a broadened tax base, we've got a huge residential boom going on. We need more industrial and corporate development that frankly carries much of the burden for taxes that serve our communities. I think it's also worth noting, and it's a longer answer, but I'll just say it in short terms, we absolutely have to recast the way we do bonds for schools. There's a much better way that would allow us to get rid of impact fees on new construction, at the same time deliver more funds to schools and do it in a more timely fashion so that we're not wasting bond funds. That's a dialogue that I'll be taking to the state legislature. That will do a lot, I think, in terms of making our economic development in Franklin County more attractive, excuse me, to outside revenue sources. But there's just so many different opportunities. On the Legislative Steering Committee for the Washington State Association of Counties, which I've been reappointed to, I'll have an open door to legislators on both sides of the aisles to get legislation put into place, either updated or new legislation that does a better job of leveling the playing field. The notion that B&O taxes make sense to anybody is beyond me. To tax somebody on their gross revenues makes no sense. We need to revamp that process. And I think there's other opportunities on the personal property tax for business as well. Those need to go away.
All right. Now, Kim, I'm going to repeat that question for you, and it'll be the same question, and you will also have 2 minutes. If you could change one thing in Franklin County that, if implemented, would allow for profitable development, business success, and a broadened tax base, what would it be and why?
It's a very good question. One, we need to work with our cities for a comprehensive interlocal agreements. We need to expand our infrastructure opportunities. The number one way that we're going to be able to, as a state and as a county, to be able to make up for the lost revenue, to be able to help pull ourselves out of this COVID-19 financial crisis, is to be able to improve our infrastructure. This creates 2 wonderful opportunities. One, it creates jobs locally for our residents, and 2, it attracts businesses. We also need to work on changing our county zoning to allow for more development on land, such as if we had a situation where Costco wanted to come in. It doesn't make sense to have Costco all the way located in a location that's too tiny for a footprint. So we can't be able to attract Costco. But also at the same time, we can't be able to have it on valuable farmland that's outside of the urban growth area. So we need to be able to collaborate with the city planners along with the county to be able to find good locations for those type of businesses by trying to offer to them opportunities. And as the saying says, if you build it, they will come. We need to enact tax breaks and possible variances for businesses that invest in our county. This would really greatly be able to create a situation where Pasco, Franklin County, starts attracting businesses instead of turning them away. We need to coordinate economic policies with business advocacy groups, continue our good relationships with Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, TRIDEC, revisit our SOMA Pasco vision, and try to be able to continue to collaborate together in order to be able to be innovative in trying to attract new business to our local area. Thank you.
All right, now on to question 2, and we'll flip. Kim, you will go first on this question, and again, you'll have 2 minutes. Tri-Citians place a high value on living and doing business in a safe community. How do you plan to address civil unrest around law enforcement and race relations, as well as mental health and drug addiction?
Tri-Citians need to feel safe. That means all Tri-Citians, not just some. So one, we need to start talking and acknowledging that there is racial issues of systemic racism here in our community and in our county. We need to talk with the heads of these marginalized communities, these civic leaders, bring them together with the county government along with the sheriff's office, and sit down and have those hard conversations and show that we are genuine listening to their voices, we value their voices, and try to be able to problem solve together and create solutions together. This is not something that we should turn away from. This is not something that we should bury or ignore or hope maybe another term's going to fix it. This is something we need to tackle now. We need to not only talk about racial injustices in our communities, but we also need to take a look and follow Pasco Police Department's lead. They've done a fantastic job of continuing to learn, continue to listen, and continuing to be part of the community to help solve the problems. Another great example is the city of Pasco. They've created an inclusive diversity commission that allows marginalized community members to come forward and be able to work together to be able to review policies that the city of Pasco sets forward. I believe that Franklin County Commission needs an inclusive diversity commission to have very clear objectives and work together to be able to highlight the needs, that the experiences they've had, and to be able to look through our policies to make sure that we are serving all of our residents countywide. We also need to have a more inclusive governing system. We have a lot of residents that do not read English. It's time to include their voices in our county government. Our county government should serve all. And we also need to work at collaborating with Benton County to have a detox center. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Brad, same question. Tri-Cityans place a high value on living and doing business in a safe community. How do you plan to address civil unrest around law enforcement and race relations, as well as mental health and drug addiction?
Well, let's begin with, this is not Portland. This is not the CHOP zone. This is not downtown Seattle. But we have the same underlying challenges that create tension in our community. And it is, I think, vitally important that we are listening to all those voices and airing out what those concerns are in the manner that our forefathers in the Constitution anticipated. And that was open, unconstrained, civil dialogue between people of opposing points of view. I think that in the Tri-Cities, we've been blessed to have a community that really is very responsible and civil in that respect. That's why we're not seeing the kind of behaviors that they've seen in Portland. Our law enforcement community, as far as I'm concerned, in Franklin County is top shelf. I'm pleased to be endorsed by our county sheriff, Jim Raymond. I come from a bit of a law enforcement background myself. My father was a New York State trooper. So I'm a firm believer that we give our law enforcement the support and the tools and the resources necessary to do the job. And we make sure that in the process of carrying out their duties, that they're not constraining people's voices unnecessarily or inappropriately. With respect to mental health and drug addiction, those are co-occurring disorders that frankly are responsible for filling much of our jail space, not just in Franklin County, but elsewhere. In the past, I've twice made recommendations for the county to adopt a 1/10 of 1 cent on the retail sales tax with an offset 1/10 on the transit, so that we'd have no net increase in taxes, but we'd generate well over $1 million a year that we could use to treat people with mental illness rather than incarcerate people. It serves to everybody's benefit to do it that way, and I hope to accomplish that in my next term.
Thank you. On to question 3, and Brad, we will begin with you. How do you see Benton and Franklin counties collaborating together with other municipalities to solve shared problems and advanced regional initiatives?
Well, I want to start by clearing up the perception that apparently a few people have that the two counties aren't working together. It couldn't be farther from the truth. There are 3 dynamics by which we work together. In some cases, we have a shared program where both boards of commissioners oversee it. In some cases, one county will operate the program and the other will serve as a subcontractor to receive those services. And in a few cases, we run our own independent programs. No one formula fits every situation or every program. And so I think that in itself illustrates that there's excellent cooperation, in fact, between the counties. We work as a sub-agent, Franklin County does, with Benton County operating our human services program. It's efficient, it's effective, it serves the interests of all citizens. And so I think that the collaboration actually is strong. Where we need to improve collaboration, frankly, is between the counties and the smaller municipalities, in this case the cities, where we have development standards that vary between the cities and the counties. Because inevitably, over time, city boundaries expand into county areas, and we absolutely need to work together, and we need to find development standards that have a lot more commonality, so that when a city moves into a portion of the county, the area that they're then annexing already is preloaded with the resources and the infrastructure that's necessary for a city to grow responsibly. And of course, we do that without eating up our most valuable farm ground. We look for the ground that is best suited for residential, and we retain and preserve and protect the land that is best suited for agriculture. But the notion that the counties aren't working together is absolutely false. Jerome Delvin and myself talk on a regular basis. I know the other commissioners do as well. There's always more opportunity for collaboration, but we need to avoid the notion that one size fits all. We've got lots of tools we're using.
Brad, I'm sorry, the time is up, so I'm going to have to stop you there. I apologize. We're on those tight constraints. So Kim, I'm going to ask you the same question. You will also have 2 minutes. How do you see Benton and Franklin counties collaborating together and with other municipalities to solve shared problems and advance regional initiatives?
We need to work in a good faith effort to establish new relationships with Benton County. Serving on a past bond and levy campaigns in order to be able to successfully provide the resources of our students, I needed to help build bridges and listen to the concerns of others, and help create community buy-in. We were very transparent about our methods. We made sure that everyone knew that when they came to the committees, they had a seat at the table and they are willing to go ahead, and we were willing to listen and hear their ideas. Because of that, we were able to pass the bond and also the levy, not only for the current students, but also to benefit the future students. So we have a well-educated community for now and in the future. We need to continue to work on collaborating with TriDeck, our transit system that is vital to those that do not have their own transportation. This is their lifeline to doctor's appointments, their jobs, to be able to help be successful members of society, along with students to school, extracurricular activities that will one day resume again. They'll need those that service. We can also take a look at how we can be able to reevaluate the services offered, so that way we are as most efficient as possible. Also, our court systems, same sort of thing. We need to make sure that we're doing a good faith effort in all of these different bi-county agreements, that we are fulfilling the services of both counties based on population. We need to collaborate with our department heads of each bi-county agreement to make sure that we're hearing their voices and their concerns. And we need to acknowledge that there is differences of each county and our unique cultures, but we can be able to work together better. And I believe that a new leadership would be able to help out with that.
All right, on to the last question. Kim, you will go first on this one. What are your top 2 priorities for Franklin County, and how has coronavirus changed your perspective?
We need to form a more inclusive and accountable leadership culture in Franklin County government. This means we need to set clear governing priorities, working with the employees of the county that represent 2,500 years of experience. They can be able to help guide us. So this notion that the new commissioners would be the youngest and inexperienced commissioners, we have hardworking Franklin County employees that put their dedicated expertise every single day to serve us, to be able to help educate, inform, and for us to collaborate with them. We need to balance the budget. And one way that we can be able to do that is invite our citizens in. We need to include their voices, and we can do that through a citizen commission and look through the budget to be able to set those governing priorities so our budget reflects accordingly. We need to create an open door policy for county staff and community members. This promotes trust and buy-in. In the last 18 years that I have lived as a Franklin County citizen, I've never been asked, how can Franklin County serve you better? And I would inquire those listening who are Franklin County residents, have you ever received a survey? Have you ever received that question? Franklin County should constantly be trying to be able to improve in order to be able to fulfill its responsibilities, its statutes, but also to be able to meet the needs of the community. We need to promote an accessible and accountable government. This means that we do need to offer bilingual opportunities for those that need Spanish speaking or Spanish literature in order to be able to get access to their documents, to the website, and to be part of the meetings. We need to work with Benton Franklin Health District, and this is my second priority. So that way we can be able to continue to be able to contain the pandemic and not spread it and not continue to have further harm to our citizens and to our economy.
And Brad, last question. What are your top 2 priorities for Franklin County, and how has coronavirus changed your perspective?
Well, recent times obviously have adjusted priorities for everyone, and COVID clearly is the priority today. I think early on, the governor and his staff perhaps missed an opportunity, let's say it that way, in looking at the kinds of activities and businesses that could be open or maybe couldn't be open. And they did it based on geography and the type of business. I've been talking to the governor's staff for the last couple of weeks, as well as all the local elected leaders, and I've been pushing for a shift in that mentality. I want us to go from a geography-based to a behavior-based. We know that masks and social distancing and sanitizing practices are reasonably effective in constraining the spread of the virus. We need to stop figuring what sorts of locations, whether it's a Lowe's or a hardware store or a movie theater, and just simply open things back up with the proviso that you have to engage in those behaviors. You've got to wear masks, you've got to social distance, and you've got to do the sanitizing practices. But it is human behavior that spreads the virus. It's not geography. Whether you are 6 feet away from somebody in Lowe's or 6 or 10 feet away from somebody in a movie theater or in a local hardware store or in a restaurant, it's those behaviors that suppress the spread. It's not geography. So we need to get away from this picking winners and losers, what businesses can be open and which ones can't. Open them all, but require mask distancing and sanitizing. There may be a few very specific cases where the necessity of the business is such close physical contact that you have to make an exception there, and maybe they can't open right away. But the best thing we can do for our people and for our economy is get things back open, but do it safely and responsibly. I think the other one that we've really got to put our eye on is county finances. County financial structures are pretty challenging anyway, and next year we're going to have to make some adjustments. I think it's going to be reducing services as opposed to staff, but we'll do what's necessary.
Thank you both so much. And this now closes the question and the answer portion. We will end the forum with closing statements. And Ms. Lehrman, since you opened, we will begin closing statements with Mr. Peck.
Okay. I think really when it comes down to evaluating who might be the best person to serve in this position, you want to look to experts in the field who have worked with me. I'm endorsed by the state representatives in the 8th and 9th district, the county sheriff, the assessor, the coroner, the clerk, the chairman of the board of commissioners. These are all your elected officials in the county who have worked side by side with me on numerous issues, and I'm proud to have their strong support. The experience issue really does matter. In a state court here recently, Supreme Court actually in Spokane County, all three commissioners from a county up north were summarily dismissed because they made a mistake with how they handled a particular type of money in county government. There was no criminal activity. It was just an experience mistake. And now that county has no commissioners, and the governor's going to have to appoint new ones. Experience matters, and I look forward to serving the Franklin County folks going forward.
And Ms. Lehrman, your closing statements, you now have 1 minute.
Elected officials are public servants. They are there to serve all of us. The citizens of our county deserve a commissioner who's willing to lead through listening. We deserve a commissioner who builds bridges, a leader who's willing to put people over politics and hear our county's diverse voices. I have received many endorsements ranging from respected civic leaders to everyday Franklin County residents. One of the big takeaways from the endorsements I have received is a desire in our community to have leaders who are representatives of the people for the people. Leaders should understand the unique challenges created by COVID-19 for working people and for those in our community living paycheck to paycheck. We deserve a commissioner who will listen to science and policy experts, not attack them. Franklin County stands at a crossroads. We are one of the fastest growing counties in the state, and we deserve leaders to move Franklin County forward. I love this county, and I believe in its future. My name is Kim Lehrman, and I respectfully ask for your vote. To learn more, visit electkimlehrman.com. Thank you.
Thank you both, and thank you both so much for your time, for being here today. We appreciate you for taking the time to watch the Tri-Cities Regional Chamber's 2020 Candidate Forum featuring Franklin County Commissioner Position 1 candidates. And as we begin to count down to the election, a big reminder that Election Day is November 3rd. Please remind your Franklin County friends, neighbors, family to watch, share this video, and get informed on other candidates that are running. You can find this video along with other forums on the Tri-City Regional Chamber website. That's going to be www.tricityregionalchamber.com. And a big thank you to those involved, the Chamber, Keeper Action News, the candidates, and of course the sponsors who helped make this possible: Cascade Natural Gas, Gisa Credit Union, JLH Group, and Hayden Homes, and especially, again, all of you for watching this, being informed voters. I'm Julia Thatcher with Keeper Action News, reminding you to get out and cast your vote.